Right then, part 3 of our adventure across Switzerland, and we carry on looking around Bern, and along we go to their next lift, which is an old lift that's been modernised by Schindler with Eurolift buttons, but it's still not got inner doors. Yes! What, is there no sensor? No way.
If I hit it hard enough on, that's some bullshit.
Oh, there's the sensor there.
It's going up and down. And along we go to the next lift, which is unmodernised, an original 1960s relay lift. Yes! This lift is completely awesome, and what makes it even better is it's got no inner doors. Whoa. Yeah, either side too, check it.
Relay logic.
That is floor 4.
Let's get on top it.
We got any hot?
Oh, what's that? That's weird. Oh, that's interesting. Why didn't it go down? What? What? It didn't go down any further. I don't like that. It didn't go down any further.
Yeah, get off this.
Okay, let's go down again. Let's see what happens.
What's that selector switch there?
That's the wrong one. Let's put... No, do it. No. What? That's wrong. They shouldn't do that. That's wrong. Something's wrong with that lift. Oh wow. So let's get into this completely awesome relay logic motor room.
That's wood.
What's that logic as it does now?
Go.
And now, here's some nighttime views around Bern. Right then, it's now nighttime, and let's take a look around Bern at night.
Maybe it's in.
I'm still yet to do one of these. I really want to. Tram. Oh fuck! I got. And now go along to our next trolley bus, which is the older model of trolley bus and is really nice.
Is this a DC or
For the next night, we actually went back to the same hotel campsite communal area that we did the last night and slept in those hammocks again, and I kind of got a bit better night's sleep this time because I got slightly more used to sleeping in a hammock. So then the next day along we go to Bergenstock, and there's some very nice scenery and several waterfalls en route. So when we arrived, first thing is to get a funicular up the mountain here.
Fahrtrichtung rechts. Hotelgäste bitte links aussteigen.
Look at Windows taskbar. They forgot to hide it. Along to the very, very posh hotel. So you say last time it wasn't all like this, it was all just empty?
All this was under construction. It was an urban playground, bro.
Was there an old funicular I got rid of or something? That's the old motor or something. This has some very posh models of Schindler 5500. Oh, it is nice. And all of the top floors are locked. Oh.
We need to surf it. Hopefully somebody's going to call it.
Try it. So let's surf it. It's fast inspection. This inspection so fast, some lifts actually go slower than it's at full speed.
Don't try it.
And now we go along to our next swimming pool. And this pool, I've seen nothing like it. It's an outdoor pool on the side of this hotel, on the side of the mountain. And this is what I call an infinity pool, where they've hidden the outer edges of the pool so it looks like the swimming pool just blends into the scenery around it. It's like a swimming pool where you can just swim in the pool while overlooking a massive view of all of the surrounding mountains. I know no pool quite like this. This is such a nice swimming pool, and despite being an outdoor pool, it's also just the perfect temperature. It's really nice and warm at about 30 degrees, but it's not quite as boiling hot as the first swimming pool. It's so nice. And this swimming pool's got some really interesting features, such as an automatic door in a swimming pool. What the fuck? It actually has an automatic door in the water. And this entire pool is so nice.
As well as that, I've also got an indoor pool, which is quite a lot colder and wasn't so interesting. So then we stayed in this pool for ages, and it's now night time. And let's take a view of these swimming pools in the night. And they look so nice at night time. Look how it's all lit up. That is so nice. This looks like some promotional video for the swimming pool, because usually promotional swimming pools look better than it actually is. But this isn't. This is just my Android's video. This video has not been retouched to make it look nice. It actually does look this nice in real life. So then it's now time to go to sleep. This is my final night here. Dylan and Urban Odyssey are actually staying here for 2 whole weeks. How can I manage being homeless for 2 weeks? I mean, I'm just doing 5 nights and I feel exhausted from it. So the final night, I actually brought a blow-up mattress from a shop, so I'm not quite doing it completely for free as I was wanting to, but it's worth buying a blow-up mattress as I was able to get a good night's sleep in a quiet location. So the next morning, we wake up early. Why do you think we wake up early? Well, if any of you know the location that we know this location is famous for the outdoor mountain lift, the Hammetschwand lift. When we had to get up early to get to the lift before the lift opens and the staff arrive, because Dylan and Urban Odyssey want to climb the lift shaft. So this is an outdoor lift that goes up 100 metres up the outside of the mountain. Here I am at the top level of this lift, and Dylan and Urban Odyssey are currently climbing the lift. Let's take a look at how epic this lift is. So many people have said to me, I should go to Switzerland for the specific reason of surfing this lift. Well, when Dylan and Urban Odyssey were climbing the shaft before the lift got turned on for a day, they climbed right down to where the lift was parked on the lower floor and got on top of the lift. The lift has a rain shield on top of it, like all outdoor lifts do, but this one was sort of shaped like a wind and rain shield, with the sides of it being sloped, meaning to stand on top of this lift you have to balance yourself on the rain and wind shield, which is just not safe. So that's not possible. The other way is to lift up the flaps of the lift and stand on top of the lift as an engineer would. But there's sensors on the flaps and the lift will not enter regular service. But nevertheless, that does mean you could still surf it on inspection. But Dylan wasn't able to find an inspection control. Before the lift got turned on in the morning, a member of staff actually did a check of the lift. There's actually a port, and the member of staff that checks the lift in the morning plugs in the inspection control to drive the lift. So this lift is quite different to regular lifts, and it's very locked down, and sadly we weren't able to surf this lift.
It's Hammetschwand lift time! Oh dear, what's that they've added? Is that a camera to check who's surfing the lift? Look at it, it's actually pointing right at top. Oh dear, they expected us coming. Oh dear. There's a Schindler. Nice M series, full intelligent. Guess where Dylan is? Is he climbing the lift shaft as usual? Of course he is. Is that a lift engineer on site, or is that Dylan? It's lift shaft climbing time! And there is Urban Odyssey climbing up the lift shaft. So they seem to know lift surfers might come because of that camera. Just opened up his flap here. Nothing in there, just electrics. So I'll close that back up again. Sounds like really weird about Hammetschwand lift. It goes against the standard safety principles of how lifts work. It must have some method on it to make it safe, obviously, but it's different to how normal lifts work. Because normally lifts are safe because the outdoor doesn't have a motor. There's a motor for the outer shaft door. But there is still a roller, so even if that motor turned on, say by a software error or something, turned that motor on, there is a roller on that door, so that couldn't actually open unless the lift's up here to press that roller, so it is still safe. It's musical cow time! All the cows have got bells on.
now along we go to Lucerne. And along I go to the first lift here, which is a really nice glass Schindler Eurolift. And along to a Schindler M Series hydraulic. Now this is a really odd lift. The Schindler M Series hydraulics, even though Schindler M Series traction is the best, the hydraulics are not as good as Hydroware's hydraulics. But this Schindler M Series hydraulic is really odd. I've seen nothing like it. It uses some sort of variable frequency pump on the hydraulic. It's actually got full intelligent levelling, like a traction M Series. But it's hydraulic. As far as I can tell, it doesn't feel like it's using the variable valve that the Hydroware uses. It seems to be more of a variable speed pump on the hydraulic or something. It's really odd. And also it's got coloured M Series buttons. This lift is so interesting. And now go along to a double bendy trolley bus, which is really nice. And along to the main train station. And along to a lift which actually got some good speed for the distance it goes. And along to a Schindler M Series hydraulic, which is just a bog standard hydraulic. So then I now get on a train along to Basel. And this is a double-deck train. The layout of the carriages is very interesting on this double-deck train. You actually walk along the top floor as you change between carriages. It's different to the French double-deck trains where you have the two decks in the middle, but at the ends of each carriage it has like a halfway deck. On this one it's like the top deck is the main deck. So then I arrived into Basel, and the reason why I went back to Basel is because when I did my cheap fly adventure to Basel a little while ago, my plane was delayed and I missed a couple of things which I was really disappointed about missing. So this is why I've gone back, and the thing I was most disappointed about missing is the cross-border tram that goes to France. I did the cross-border tram that went to Germany, but that tram just ran on the roads. I'm not really that interested in trams that run on the streets. Most people when they go to places think the trams running on the streets is like the main bit of interest of the tram route. I personally find that bit of the tram route boring. I prefer the out-of-town express tram bits of the route, much more interesting for my preference. And this bit that goes into France is really interesting. It appears to be going along an old railway, and it runs more like a train tram system than a tram system. It's a cross-border tram, which is something I think is really amazing, especially considering how racist England is. England would never have a cross-border tram, even if they actually had a border for it to go across. So click a link in the description to see my full video of the cross-border tram in Basel. So then along to Basel Airport. Now this is a really interesting and unusual airport. When I was first here I was able to rush too much to really appreciate quite what is going on at this airport. Now looking at a map, this airport doesn't seem to be on a border. It seems to be completely in France. Despite the fact this is the airport for Switzerland, it's in France. But despite it appearing to all be in France, the airport is more complicated than this, as it seems to be divided between a France and Switzerland airport, and there's actually a border crossing in the middle of the airport, because outside of the airport they've divided it off with a fence so you can't go across the two sides of the airport. Only inside of the airport can you actually cross between the two sections. The border's open, you don't have to show your passport or anything because of Schengen, but it's weird they've got a border crossing. What's even more weird than this, if you go upstairs to where the restaurants in the airport are, there's a glass wall dividing the restaurants in half. So it's restaurants on the France side and restaurants on the Switzerland side. And along we go to the lifts here, which are some Schindler M series. First, let's take a look at the M series on the Switzerland side.
Restaurant.
And let's now take a look at the M series on the France side.
Parking. Parkplatz. Parking. 6e étage.
And now I'll go airside in this airport. And once again, they've still got this weird setup of having Switzerland and France sides to the airport. If you look on an app, you can see the airport is clearly divided into two different sides. But since everyone's friendly with Schengen and everything at the moment, it's not really that well observed. Because as you go airside, you can pretty much just walk around the airport as you would on both the France and Switzerland sides. But if, say, for example, if Schengen ever collapsed in the future, they could easily just shut the doors and make this airport into two separate airports, which are completely separate for France and Switzerland. It's so weird.
Bernardinentor.